What is going on, everyone? So in this week's video, I got a couple things to talk about. So usually this time of year, I go on my spring trip. So go out and try to find some photos and do a little exploring and all that. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about that. But also I am doing a giveaway of my box set that is very graciously provided to you by a viewer who bought a box set for someone else to give away. And so I'll give the details about that at the end as well. So two pretty cool things here. So first of all, spring trips. So every year, this time of year, I go on a spring trip. And ever since about, I think 2010 or so, I've been heading to southern Utah this time of year. Actually, even before that, I think 2009. It's been a while. But I go there every time in the spring, because once you get kind of past the storm window, but before it kind of starts heating up out there, there's so many cool areas to explore out there. I've been going out there for so long, but it's just, you can spend a lifetime out there. But this spring has been really, really weird. We've had some really strange weather. And for example, here in San Diego, usually the last time it rains is kind of like in March, and then it doesn't rain again until maybe like late October into November. So our summers are usually completely dry. But we had rain all the way through even about a week or so ago, which is pretty crazy. And so what I had scheduled for this year's spring trip was I was gonna head out to Utah to do a backpacking trip, come back here, kind of rest up a little bit, get things cleaned up, then head up to the Redwoods and kind of do a two-part trip. Because I learned when I went on my winter trip that, you know, it's a fair amount of effort to go out there and kind of wander around, find subjects, record the whole process on video. And after about 5 days or so, I kind of start to burn out, and I kind of start losing that ability to kind of keep going and finding interesting things and kind of keep the cycle going. So one of the things that I learned on the winter trip is that if I plan my trip for about 5 days, and I kind of come home, rest up, and then head out again, you get this fresh start, which is really, really nice. And it might be different for you guys, but I just find about 5 days or so is kind of my limit. And then I kind of become blind to everything that is around me. And so I wanted to kind of maintain that fresh perspective, because one of the things I've learned is that there is opportunity everywhere. You can go to all these different locations, and so long as you have the right mindset, and so long as you're willing to do a little work and kind of look for the subjects, you'll find some pretty cool subjects pretty much everywhere you go. But it's really kind of a matter of just being able to see those subjects and being in the right mindset. So that was the plan for the spring trip. I was gonna head to southern Utah, go on a quick backpacking trip over there, as I'm choking on myself here. I was gonna go for a backpacking trip over there, explore some new areas, visit some areas I'm also a little bit familiar with. And then I was gonna come back and then head up to the Redwoods. But since the weather has been so weird this year, I mean, looking at the weather forecast for when I was originally gonna head to Utah, it was rain every single day. And that would be really, really bad for where I'm going. A lot of times with landscape photography, we want clouds, we want weather, we want all that kind of stuff. But for where I was going in southern Utah, that would not be very good. Accessibility is difficult. There's lots of sort of these clay dirt roads. And if it rains, those roads are impassable. Even if you have an awesome vehicle, 4-wheel drive, lifted, good tires, all that, you're not gonna get very far. You're just gonna tear up the road for everyone else. So accessibility would be difficult. Plus from a photography standpoint, I really need to have blue skies in those areas, because the blue skies kind of helps to create that reflected light, and that works really well down in the canyon. So not having good light, accessibility, and also there is just the safety hazards of, do you really want to be camping in a canyon when it's raining and the whole thing could flood out? And then it just wouldn't have been very good. So I ended up kind of changing my plan, kind of called off the backpacking trip, and then I had reservations up in the Redwoods. So I drove up to the Redwoods as I originally had planned, with the idea of as soon as that trip was done, then I would go to Utah the week after. But the weather still wasn't all that great by the time I was done with the Redwoods. And when I was in the Redwoods, it rained every single day, which is kind of expected for up in there. But I was a little bummed out that the window of my visit just wasn't really going to match up really well with good light. And now it's been a month since I got back from my trip to the Redwoods, and I'm hoping that this coming week I'll be able to head out to Utah and go on that backpacking trip. And the weather is looking way better right now. There's still a little bit of a chance of rain, a little bit of clouds here and there, but it's definitely much better than before. And when going out to some of these areas and kind of backpacking in those areas, I'm trying to sort of find this sweet spot where it's not stormy, it's not like the spring storms, but also it's not the summer heat, because you don't want it to be too hot either. So hopefully I'll be able to go on the second part of the trip, and hopefully it'll be pretty decent. But the Redwoods, it was great. I really enjoyed my time up there. I didn't end up shooting a lot of photos, but I did get one photo in particular I'm really happy with, and some others that are pretty decent as well. And I really look forward to sharing the videos from that trip. I spent a lot of time on them and kind of putting everything together and really trying to convey the feeling of being there, because it's a really, really cool area. It's the tallest trees in the world, lush forests. It rained every single day on the trip, and it was pretty fun. So those videos will start on June 15th, and so that's this coming Saturday. And I think you guys will enjoy those videos, because I definitely enjoyed my time up there, and definitely look forward to heading back there again next year. Next thing I want to talk about is the box set giveaway. So a little earlier this year, really cool guy who watches these videos, his name is Darren. He came up with something that was kind of awesome. He said that he was going to buy a box set for someone who watches these videos, kind of a pay it forward kind of a thing. And he says that the only sort of rules of the giveaway is that it just can't go to someone who already has a box set. So it's got to go to someone who has not yet purchased a box set. And so I figured I'd do this as kind of a pay it forward giveaway. So if you guys are interested in winning one of my 2018 portfolio box sets, down below in the show notes, you'll see a link there with a form of how to enter to win. But basically, the only rules is you can't have already purchased a box set, and just fill out the form. And there'll be one question on the form there where basically I'll say, you know, what will you do to pay it forward to someone else if you win this box set? And I'd encourage everyone that enters, just go ahead and do that thing. Maybe it'll increase the chances of winning. But I think it is kind of cool to kind of spread some love and I don't know, I think it'd be kind of cool thing to do. So box set giveaway form down below, and then the video journals from the spring trip, those will go live on this Saturday, June 15th. And hopefully I'll have good weather for heading out to Utah. It won't be too hot, it won't be rainy. We'll see what I can come away with. But I want to thank everyone for watching, and we'll see you around next week.